Hey, what's up you guys? It's here back in with another video, and today we're going to take a look at the McFarlane Toys Collectors Club Suicide Squad Level 3 Harley Quinn. I'd like to thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. Before we get started, I'd like to ask you guys if you feel so inclined to please like and subscribe. It really does help my channel and is absolutely free. Taking on the package over here, we can see this is a pretty big boy compared to all other McFarlane Toys boxes, and that's because this Harley Quinn over here comes with a large amount of accessories. You obviously can't see it over here as I took them out, but yeah, they're all across the box. So yeah, you got a nice window box. You got McFarlane Toys Collectors Club at the top over there, 12 plus. You got Harley Quinn Suicide Squad at the bottom here, level 3. So there's different levels to this. I got the 3rd level because I thought that was the best value one, but we'll go into that more in a sec. At the side, you got Collectors Club with a nice Harley Quinn design, McFarlane Toys over there. At the other side, you got that window box continuing along, level 3 Harley Quinn DC Multiverse Suicide Squad. At the back over here, you got a nice big image of Harley and the Joker. Suicide Squad at the top over there, DC Multiverse. And then you got some more McFarlane Toys information over there. And at the top over here, you got that window box continuing along again. McFarlane Toys, DC Multiverse. And the bottom, you got a bunch of other legalese along with the UPC code. All right, so Suicide Squad, Harley Quinn. Now, this is pretty cool over here. This is part of McFarlane's sort of like crowd funds. I don't know the official name for it, but, you know, they do these crowd funds here and there, and this was part of one of them. So basically they needed enough backers in order to put this figure into production, and there's a whole bunch of different levels. Well, level 1 had the Harley Quinn figure, just the bare base of it. Level 2 had a few more accessories, that including the whole jacket look and everything. And then level 3, which is what I got over here, included Jared Leto's Joker, which you almost never see nowadays. That's pretty cool in my opinion. And then level 4 was including another Harley Quinn figure that had a more of like a concept kind of look. It was more of just like a red and black kind of style. I'm personally pretty happy to have gotten this over here. I know people have their thoughts on the original Suicide Squad movie, but you know what? For me, it has a special place in my heart because, that was the time when DC was starting to really roll out their cinematic universe to rival with Marvel's. And it was a really exciting time. It was the calm before the storm that was, everything that, people know the DCEU for. But just building on it and seeing these looks for Harley and for Joker, it was so cool, and it was such an awesome time until the movies ended up coming out. Yeah, Suicide Squad wasn't a very good movie, but I actually really did like these designs for these characters. Harley's I really liked. I think that's the best design that she's had, at least for Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, and one of the best I think in comics, in my opinion. It's been very influential to any Harleys from then on, especially with the whole tattoo look and all. But with Joker, that's kind of a different situation. Jared Leto, he wasn't the greatest Joker, and people kind of make fun of him for it. But I think this design is pretty good over here. I like, the whole like tuxedo kind of look, and I'm glad that they were able to get some reuse out of it. But yeah, we're gonna take a look at all that and talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, let me know what you think about Suicide Squad. Did you like that movie? I bet you didn't. But anyway, let's get into these figures. As for accessories over here, look at the amount of accessories she comes with. This is absolute insanity. I've never seen this amount of accessories when it comes to McFarlane figures. Really cool over here, though. So, yeah, let's get it started off. Basically, she comes with the holster, that she has underneath her jacket, and then obviously she comes with the jacket piece over here, and it does come with different arms. So there's 2 different arm sets. One is for when she has the jacket on, which is pretty cool, and then the other when she has the jacket off. And these both look really great in terms of the paint detailing. Otherwise, you do get a bunch of heads over here, and these are not faceplates. They're actual heads that you'll go ahead and put the hair on top of. So you got one where she's just, traditional smiling Harley. You got one where she's winking, which is pretty cool. You got one where she's, smiling with her mouth closed. She's got one that's a little bit more of a determined looking Harley and a big gash on the side of her face. And then another one with a big gash where she's blowing out a piece of bubble gum. This is really cool. I've never seen this in a figure before. I really, really like, you know, the creativity behind this in adding, you know, the bubblegum blowing. I think that's my favorite head sculpt of these. But anyway, continuing on, we got a bunch of hand accessories. So she basically comes with 4 pairs of hands in total. 1 pair are 2 fisted hands. She's got a pair of like grabbing kind of hands, and then a pair of trigger finger hands, and then a pair of open hands. One is kind of like a relaxed open hand, and the other is more like a pointing finger kind of thing. I really like that too. And then for the weapon accessories here, she does come with her big hammer. And yeah, this is really good as well too. Bendable material, very easy to move around. She comes with her iconic bat, which I think is my favorite, you know, weapon accessory over here. And you can see it says the Good Night on there, which is really nice as well too. Then she comes with her pistol, and this also looks really good as well too. A little bit big for me, but you can also fit it into her holster over here that's attached to her. And then you do also get another pistol that's meant for Joker. Yeah, so taking a look at Joker over here, as I think he does count as an accessory in this set, but you can see there's a very smart reuse going on over here. If you do recognize it, it's the same, you know, body as the Silver Age Joker that McFarlane did from, I think it was a couple years ago now, or maybe it was last year. But you can see it's in the black and, you know, white kind of version to match that tuxedo look he has in the film. And this is some really smart reuse here. I really like how they were able to fit in Jared Leto's Joker in this with using the same body build over here. It's, you know, minimal, you know, new parts. But yeah, when it comes to the head sculpt over here, which is the, you know, newer accessory, I think this looks absolutely phenomenal. Just something, I guess it's easier to do these kind of head sculpts because, you know, he doesn't have the eyebrows there and you're able to put in the black makeup around the eyes. But this just looks really good for, you know, it looks like Jared Leto. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I just think that this head sculpt was done really well. And you got a bit of, you know, dark green in there for the hair, nice wash going on throughout, all the different scars on the face, the iconic damage on the forehead, and really good head choice as well too. This is one more iconic kind of expressions for Joker, or well, not for Jared Leto's Joker specifically, the not smiling, as we all know and love. But yeah, the rest of the body over here looks great as well too. You know, not exactly like 100%, you know, accurate to the movie, but you know, it's very smart reuse, and I would have taken this over not taking a Jared Leto Joker figure with this Harley Quinn set over here. So yeah, really nice. And while we're at it, why don't we take a look at Jared Leto's articulation. Can move up about there, can move down like that, swivel. You got a bit of, you know, pivots going on there as well too. The arm can move up about that much. It can move up, down, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. You got some wrist articulation, which is a swivel and a hinge as you please. I do have a single waist joint here, so he can move around like that, move down like that. You can move back like that. You can move to this side, what have you. I do have some leg articulation here, which is kicking up about there. That's pretty good. Kick back and on an angle. He can do the splits about there. And then he does have double jointed knees, which move in around there. And then he does have some ankle articulation, which is down, up, pivot. And he does have the toe hinge. Take a look at Harley herself over here. And yeah, I think that this is a very striking looking figure over here. So many different colors going on with it. And that mainly goes to the design of, you know, this Harley Quinn in the movie. I think that there was just such a unique approach to this with the blue and the red and the gold. And I think they even won an Oscar for, maybe it wasn't costume, but it was definitely the makeup and hairstyling. And yeah, totally with this Harley Quinn, there's a lot that went into this figure over here, or, you know, just the costume design in general. And I think it's reflected really well in figure form over here. Now, for the rest of the video, I'm going to be keeping on the jacket look. I'll take a look at the arms as well too, but they are rather hard to get in and out of the figure. And this is the appearance that I kind of like more and seems like more complete to me. So just a disclaimer there. But anyway, we kind of took a look at the head sculpts already as it was, but I do think that this looks like Harley, or Margot Robbie, I should say, very much so. There's some, you know, faces where, you know, the eyes are a little bit off, maybe in some cases, but, you know, I think for the most part, they're done very well. Lots of nice paint detail going on with these for sure. But I do think for sure the best Margot Robbie head sculpt is probably this one where she's smiling with her mouth open, or I should say showing her teeth. But yeah, the hair over here looks great as well too. It's got a nice wash going in it as well. The blue and the pink reddish kind of dye going on the sides there too. The ponytails are really, really great. You got the put-in kind of choker that's going on over there, so that's pretty nice as well. Got rotten at the side. Daddy's little monster. You know, we all knew that that was, you know, her kind of look for the Joker, kind of going in with his, you know, tattoo kind of look. So that was quite interesting. What an interesting time. You got the jacket going on over here as well with the braces at the bottom there, just really nice. And I got the open hands out over here. So yeah, really nicely designed. And we'll take a quick look at these arms over here as well too. You can see that it does have the different bracers there. It says yes sir. So yeah, kind of an interesting thing. I've never noticed that before. That's why you get these figures. You don't ever notice things until you see them in a sculpted form. But anyway, you got the stomach over here too. You have, I think that says lucky you there. Yeah, some interesting, you know, pics of there. The eyes over the butt. I'm watching the stuff I've never noticed before, but you notice it now when you have the figure. Property of the Joker, and then you have established since forever, and then put in, I can't read what that, put in freaky, I think that's what that says, put in freaky. Yeah, very interesting stuff that's going on there. But yeah, really cool design. And even the belt here too, there's just so much going in with this design over here. Just really nice. And then one of the added perks on this figure over here too is that you have the sort of fishnets that are going on, and these are, you know, an actual like threaded kind of material. These are an actual kind of like fabric material, so you can move them all around, which is really nice. You have the same tattoos going on throughout in the figure here. So again, just so many details going into this design. You can see that the fishnets over here do kind of, you know, seam up at the end here, so you do want to be careful, and we'll go through it with the articulation because sometimes these can get bunched up over here. And then obviously you do have the shoes here too, and these are really nice as well. Very much up Harley's lane, and just such a unique take on the costumes. I really love the look of this figure, and obviously you got two pegals at the bottom of the feet. As for articulation, she does have a pretty decent amount. It's basically what you expect from every other McFarlane figure out there. Can look up about that much. You can look down. She can look side to side. Bit of pivot in there as well too. You do have some arm articulation, so she can go up about there. She can go down, up, down. You got a bit of a butterfly joint there. She can move around a little bit, which is nice. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which move in pretty decently. I think that's good enough. You do have some wrist articulation, which is on kind of the ball peg again, so it's a swivel and a hinge, and you can move that hinge around if you want it to go like side to side or up and down, what have you. You do have a diaphragm joint in here in the torso, and I think there's only, oh, there's two, so it's kind of like a one joint here and then one joint just right above in here, so you got a bit of extra, you know, range going on. It's not the greatest, but yeah, you can tilt her onto the side pretty good there. So there's a decent amount of range. I think that's pretty good. You can swivel her around like that. And they do have some leg articulation here as well too. And this is where you want to be careful because these fishnets can get in the way. So you can kick up about there. You can kick back on an angle like that. And you can kind of see where the fishnets kind of come up here. So this does look a little bit ugly, but you can see how the fishnets kind of go in there, and that's probably where they were glued in. So one thing to note there, that's not the most pleasant looking thing, but she can do the splits as well. You just want to be really careful. Yeah, that looks very wrong, doesn't it? You can do the splits about there. I don't want to do any more than that because I don't want to ruin this. And then she does have double jointed knees, which don't want that to get bunched up. It can go up around there. You want to be very careful moving that back. Whoa. Okay, that's good. And then you do have some ankle articulation, which is on a ball peg as well, so it can swivel, can go up about that much. It's kind of hindered by the top of the boots there. Can go down about that far. You know, you got some swivel action and pivot action going on in there. And then one of the things that McFarlane usually does is the toe hinge, but you do not get that with this Harley Quinn over here. So thought that would be interesting to mention. As for comparison today, I do have Harley and Joker next to a couple figures over here. On the left, we have the Silver Age Joker, which you can see the comparison there as to how, you know, the body book is pretty much the exact same thing. And then next to the Ben Affleck Batman from Batman v Superman. And man, it is so great seeing these three figures all together in McFarlane form over here. Never thought I would see the day of where these would all, you know, make an appearance together. But this was, again, as I said, Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman hold a special place in my heart. This was all I was thinking about when DC was starting to, you know, vamp their whole new universe before, you know, all the craziness came after that. And it was just fantastic to see these three together, because this was the Batman, Joker, and Harley Quinn of what would be DC's, you know, film universe, the DC cinematic universe. And unfortunately, didn't really come to fruition, but still great to see the three of them over here. Very cool. You did want to compare these figures to some figures they have at home. We can see over here that Harley does stand at just about 6 3/4 tall, and then Joker over here stands at just under 7 inches. They're pretty much the same height. All right, so final thoughts on what I would call this Suicide Squad, Joker, and Harley set. I think this is absolutely amazing. I never thought I would see the day where McFarlane would be doing the 2016 Suicide Squad action figures, and I always loved that Harley Quinn design in that film, and I'm just so glad that they were able to get it over here, even though it was part of a crowdfund. Now, I have my own reservations about crowdfund. I think, especially when it comes to licensed properties like these, they shouldn't exist because, you know, they should be readily available. Like, this should be available to, you know, anyone on the mass market. They shouldn't have to pay scalpers for these types of figures, because I've already seen, like, this figure setup's gone up, you know, online, and I already see, like, the amount of money people are putting them up for is absolutely insanity. And I get it, it's like a collector's thing, but at the end of the day, like, these are just figures, man. They're figures. Like, just I don't get why we need to put a whole exclusivity banner on them. But, you know, whatever. It's just, I find, honestly, aside from all that this is an absolutely fantastic set, and I'm so happy that I got it. Even for the price, I think I ended up spending around $80 Canadian for this, and usually, like, that's like the price of an Elite Edition. And, you know, this is much better than Elite Edition pack, you know, basically getting 2 figures out of this and a bunch of accessories, which is absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, like, I really enjoy this set. I think this is a great set. Now, there are, you know, a few issues that I have with it. I do think that for the Harley, it is very hard to swap out the arms. And, you know, I have a feeling that they're going to end up breaking at some point. And, you know, it's not a great feeling to have when you're trying to, you know, follow around with an action figure and, you know, try out all the different accessories on it. So I think that, you know, definitely they could have made some improvements there, maybe made it a bit easier with, you know, the peg going into the socket of, you know, the torso, maybe making the socket a little bit more, you know, of a rubberized material or something like that. Anyway, that's just one thing I want to know on that. And then I also think that the fishnets on the Harley, as cool as it is that they decided to integrate that into this figure, I think it would have been better just with going with something like sculpted over top, because, yeah, I just have a feeling if that, like, tears, then, you know, the figure's kind of ruined from there, right? But I get it. You know, some people out there like the fishnets on the figures, especially when they're like a fabric material. But just for me, I just personally don't like it. And you already saw with, you know, the whole articulation segment that there is some bits that are completely missing it entirely. So, but it is what it is. I think, you know, otherwise accessories are absolutely fantastic. I think the likenesses on both of the figures are absolutely great. And yeah, like the figures itself, the paint detail, I can't believe how good the paint detailing is on these figures over here. And I guess just with the design choice of this Harley Quinn, it was just such a good figure to do, because it has so many intricate details going on with this costume design. And yeah, and again, just McFarlane, they hit it out of the park with this. So I'm really happy with this set. And if you're able to find this set at a decent price now, because, you know, obviously you have to go to the scalpers for it, I would highly suggest picking it up if you are a fan of the Suicide Squad movie, or a fan of the DCEU versions of Harley and Joker, and just, wanting to add this to your collection. So that being said, if I were to give this set a rating, I would probably stick with a 9 out of 10. And that's a pretty good 9 out of 10. And it's probably the fandom in me, talking a little bit as well too, just because, as I said, this movie has a bit of a place in my heart. But, I think this is such a cool set. I think it's so cool. I can't stress enough, if you like these characters, these versions of these characters, it's such a great, inclusion from McFarlane, especially that we're almost at the end of the road with McFarlane and the DC license. This is such a good outing, and, they completely knocked it out of the park with this. So yeah, very happy with this set. With all that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think about this set in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought about both these figures. Let me know what you thought about my review. And as every YouTuber begs you to do, please like and subscribe. And hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.